can see that it's coming up pretty easy. I did a channel down the center so I can just work my way off of that. And it is on the mortar like the other bathroom upstairs, but luckily I can just put the thin set right over top of this and set the tiles on that. And we do have enough clearance, so we should be all set. You got to remember when you're doing these sides that when you're measuring, it's not just the distance. You got to subtract the 1/4 inch for the gap, and then the 1/4 inch or whatever you're going to use for your gap along the wall. This one's a little bit tight because the wall kind of bows. You can see it's a good gap here and pretty tight here, but it should be all right. Okay, I just got done cutting the piece around the toilet. It was a little bit tricky. I had to use the angle grinder. Luckily the tile hasn't broken yet, I say, because I've had it break when I'm setting it down in the mortar, but so far it cut pretty cleanly. I'm about halfway done. I've worked my way to the back of the room and now I'm working my way out. So far so good. There's some hole tiles, which is nice, and the only problem with these tiles are they break easily. I've had some corners chip out here and some other little chips. These large tiles, there's little filler pieces where they, like right here where they kind of fill in where there was gouges or something, and it'll crack right down the middle of the tile, but we're almost done. Okay, I am all set pre-cutting the tiles. It took about 2 hours maybe. There's lots of whole piece tiles, which is nice. I don't have to cut them. It did take some time in this back area, especially around that toilet. But everything's cut and in place. I haven't set these middle ones, but everything's looking fine. And I had 2 different designs for the tile layout. And here's the drawing I had. And I ended up going with this one on the left. This, even though it would be easier with more whole tiles, we didn't like that 2 little small pieces on the end, one by the tub, so we went with this one. It still has a lot of whole tiles. It wasn't that bad. Pretty easy to cut. And another tip I did, if I turn off the lights, you can see I have this laser line. And this is just a way to help me align that center line so I'm nice and straight. And when I set the tiles for the final time, I can get a nice straight line down the middle and it won't be zigzag. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow to mix up the thin set mortar and set the tiles. Then I'll give it 3 days to set, come back, do the grout, wait 3 more days, and then use the sealer to seal it all off, and we'll put the trim around the outside. One last thing is a problem I saw we might run into, and that is this here. This is the threshold, and it's pretty close to being flush here right now, and we are going to be putting, using this trowel and setting that much thin set underneath. So this tile is actually going to come up this distance here, so it's going to be higher than the threshold. I think I'm just going to put thin set or grout and fill in that, make it a little ramp up, but hopefully it doesn't look too bad and get in the way when people walk in. Here's my first batch. I think I mixed it a little runnier, but I wanted it to spread easily. And that looks like it'll be pretty good. Alright, here's what I've done in the first 20 minutes. I used about half of the bucket, maybe less, but I am using this large half-inch trowel, which is why you use a lot of thin set when you use that bigger trowel. So I'm going to go mix up another batch and keep going down that way to the door. Okay, I just finished setting the last tile. Here's the bathroom I did. It's approximately, on average, it's about 4.5 wide by 10 long, and I used one entire bag of that 50-pound thin set mortar. I didn't buy the fancy $11 stuff, I just bought the $5 gray mortar. I used the half-inch trowel. It's a half-inch thick, and these are 1/4-inch spacers. Actually, I didn't have 1/4-inch spacers, so I used 2 3/8-inch spacers that I use for the tile in the shower. It's not perfect, but these tiles are so large, when I put in the grout, you'll see the line you won't notice that there's a slight jog in 1 or 2 of the tiles. But the other problem I had was I worked my way to the front, and you can see that gap is larger than that one, and I tried to play around with everything, you know, a little here, a little there, but these were kind of stuck in place, so I'm going to try to fix that with the grout. And I'll be grouting this in 3 days. Well, it's been 3 days. The thin set is solidified. I can see the color's all white. It seems pretty solid. I did end up fixing this joint here in the front. I took the tile out that night, recut it, reset it. So now I'm just going to start pulling all these spacers out, and then I can go mix the grout in the basement, bring it up here, and start grouting all these joints. Let it sit for 10 minutes to haze up a little, and then I can use 3 sponges, wipe everything clean, do it a few more times to get all that haze, and get the grout exactly how it should look, and we should be all ready for sealing 3 days after that. Alright, so this is what we have left of the grout. It's about 3/4 of a bag, and it's the grout that matches the tile. I've used it for the other shower, the other 2 floors. I'm not going to mix all of it right now. Hopefully I won't need it all, maybe half of this bag. Go up there, do as much as I can. If I need some more, I can mix little batches as I need it. And this grout does not need a lot of water. And this is about the consistency that I like to use. It might be a little bit runny, but I found it's a lot easier to work with. It's kind of like soupy peanut butter. Any thicker and it's a pain to work into the joints. You don't want it too runny, obviously, but that's how I like to mix it. Okay, I'm ready to get started in the back corner of the bathroom, and here's the tools I'm going to use. This is the float, it's rubber. I have these just to get the grout out on the floor. It's going to be the same thing. You're just trying to work the grout into the cracks and get it all the way in until it's pushing out the sides. And these big tiles are nice, a lot nicer than the small tiles like I was doing on the shower. This will take a lot less grout to fill in all these cracks. I probably should be using something other than this to get the material out, but it works fine. Okay, so I have some of the grout on the floor, and I like to take this front edge, and I use a lot of the front edge, and you're just working it in to the crack, trying to get it as deep down in. You should see it squeezing out just like that. That's a good sign when it squeezes out like that. So you're working it in and then wiping it clean. pushing really, I like to push right down on that front edge and then take the material and work your way down. The video you just watched was just one part from a series of bathroom remodel videos we did. Click next to see the next video in the series, or you could check out my bathroom remodel playlist to see all the videos we did while remodeling the 3 bathrooms in our house. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to like the video and subscribe. Thanks.